Hello, Moinak. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm also doing good. So recently we have seen the movie called Love Under Construction.
I think we are talking about a series.
Yes, we are talking about the series and not the movie. Correct. So and it is available on the Jio Hotstar platform. And so today we are here to talk about the movie.
So it's a six-episode series, 30 minutes each, roughly, for each of the episodes. So around, I can say, 3 hours of total series watch time with all the twists which are necessary to make you binge watch the next episode. So it's in Malayalam language. And Abhishek, so how did you find it?
Before I talk about how I liked it or not, so let's give a quick overview of the narrative. Okay?
Okay.
So the narrative here, centers around two cousin brothers, right?
So
So one name,
let me interrupt you once. So people who haven't watched it, better watch it first, and then we can tally with our discussion point whether you agree with us or not. So yeah, please go ahead.
the narrative is all about two cousin brothers, namely Vinod and Pappan. And if we see that the one Vinod who is well established in Dubai and seemingly more successful in life, and then there is Pappan who is a medical representative, who is currently residing in Kerala and who is a kind of a more of a traditional and old school guy. So, and we can also see that Pappan's views are also heavily influenced by the prevalent societal norms and the presence of his, possessive mother. The plot revolves around, the universal middle class desire to own a house. And as suggested by the title, what I found interesting, Mainak, here is the director, I feel here attempts to draw a parallel between two different forms of love. So one is the love for owning a home, and second one is Vinod's relationship with Gauri, right? Where he's also trying to construct his love with Gauri. So these two parallels are there, and which I feel is reflected in the title of the series also.
So it's like a parallel between, as you said, so building a house on your own requires lots of commitment, care, lots of involvement from your end where you can live forever. It's kind of a parallel to your relationship also, especially with your loved ones. So it also requires a lot of commitment from your end, care and love from your end to make the relationship work. It's a parallel between these two things which has been put forward by the makers, and I find that part is very interesting. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so couple of things I liked and couple of things didn't work for me. So if
Okay.
I first talk about what I liked is, I found that in the garb of a social comedy, this movie is a direct attack on the existing malpractices in our society. It can be the patriarchal issues, it can be the corruption at each and every corner of our society, right?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
that it has very well depicted the corruption among the doctors, among the contractors, among the overseers. Most amusing part is the corruption among the locals, right? Who is also kind of involved in blackmailing. So this movie has depicted that very well. Second thing which I liked is like the social commentary, right? How a person who is an NRI when he's back to country, right? So everyone just thinks that he's very rich, right? So let's try to extract as much money as possible from that particular person. So this kind of mentality we have seen in our society,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So this is
Absolutely.
very much relatable. So this thing I also like. So if you talk about what do you really like about this movie?
My takeaway from this whole series is that I think though we have the whole story is focused on Vinod and Gauri
Mm-hmm.
and their love life and their problems and their families and how they come closer to each other in spite of their family's pressure and their objections. But what I really found that this is actually not a series about Vinod. You see, it is actually a series about Pappan. If you see
Correct.
that, I see the character. If you see the first episode, you will see the character. The whole episode starts from Pappan, that he is waiting in the marriage register, where we come back at the last episode. So Pappan is the main, the character they built. The character arc of that person is more classical in nature. Classical in that sense, it character has some flaws, some challenges, and it gets redeemed at the end of the whole story. So he had all the prejudices, as you mentioned, and how he overcomes, and once he falls in love with Lizzie, when he actually interact with Lizzie closely, and when he falls in love with, and all these inhibitions, all these prejudices finally goes away. And you will see that the nature of the character when he starts, you can feel that the character has no depth, and when it ends almost at the end of the story, there is some certain amount of gravitas was given to the character. Makers are very sharp in that sense. They shown him as a second fiddle to the Binod, in the garb of showing that, okay, I am showing you the character of Vinod and what happens to Vinod, and you can say that Vinod's character in software language is a rapper, which you actually think that that's the story is all about, but that's not the case. Actually, it's a story of the Pappan. So though it's a comedy, light-hearted comedy, but the real range of character arc is with Pappan and Pappan only, not with Vinod. Vinod is, in that sense, he remains in the same circle. He hasn't changed, but there is a possibility of a change when he see in Dubai, when he says that, okay, you may not marry me, but can we be friends once again? Okay, there is a chance of redemption for Vinod, but the real redemption happens for Pappan. Regarding the
Absolutely.
interesting parts, I find in first episode at the end, we finally see that Vinod loses his job, right? Now we see use of flashback, where he sees that his family loses their ancestral home. That use of flashback actually is very good. And the second episode, which loved, is that when Vinod's family goes to Gauri's family, and there we figured out there is a North Kerala and South Kerala division also, which is kind of interesting. I never
Yes,
thought of
yes,
that.
yeah, that was amusing.
So
Yes, yes,
maybe
yeah,
the directors or the makers wanted to show the north south divide in a different light altogether, but that's nice. And another thought wise, I liked it. It reminds me of Pather Pachali of Satyajit Ray, when they were flipping through in the fourth episode, when flipping through the all the marriage notices posted in that board, and the way and the camera is as if the showing from the marriage board itself, and they're flipping through the notices one after another. And that reminds me of some of the shots which I have seen in Pather Pachali. If you are looking for a payoff from the Vinod and Gauri's relationship, that payoff is not there. So the director gives you a payoff in another relationship, which is between Lizzie and Papan.
which was a
Say,
sweet surprise at the
uh,
end. I really liked it.
right. Not only surprise, this is a twist. So a
Yes,
twist or the surprise, as you said, in a garb of a light-hearted comedy. So that's all from my end in that sense.
I would not say that
I
I didn't like it. Something that was, far from the reality. Okay, just
There are
like
a
when
lot of
some
things far from the reality. Yeah, if you
like
start
when
say
some person is losing their job, right? Then the person cannot be so obsessed. Instead of finding another job, the person is coming back to his hometown and trying to build a house and trying to get married. So this part is looked far from the reality, right? Because
absolutely,
second thing is the obsession of the parents, right, to build a house, even when they are seeing that their son has lost their job. So ideally, no parent can be so insensitive that they still put pressure on the son to get it completed by time. So these things yeah, did not fall in place.
yeah, absolutely. I am totally with you on this one. Yeah, and just look at Gori. I don't know how long you can take a sabbatical. It doesn't look like a 1 month story. It's a stretch, because we come there, we see the house is started to build, and when it ends, the story, the house is fully built. So at least all the things are done. It cannot be done within a month. So do you really think a job, specifically a private job in Dubai or anywhere else for that matter, gives you that much of a time to take your sabbatical, unless you are some hotshot doing something really special? No, I don't think so. Either it's very easy to find a job in Dubai, and we will also move to Dubai very soon. I give it to them that this they're taking a creative license out of the whole thing. There are a few things here and there which sounds little
Especially in
odd.
today's society, this sounds a
Yeah.
little odd.
So there will be some creative license taken here and there, but as you just mentioned in the beginning, the message and the way they have presented the story looks really refreshing. So from that perspective, it's a recommended watch, at least for once.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. One time watch. It's a
Yeah,
thumbs up from my side.
yeah, for me also. So yeah, that's all about it. We'll talk about something else next episode. And till then, bye.
Bye bye.